It's actually 570, right? It's 570 simply because we have to do it this way because the code of 19 is always multiples of 19. So 19 times 30 is 570. So we're talking about this one word, these 9 letters, bringing us to the number 19. That's over, right? Beit El Hakim in the madrasas, right? This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. So let's get it. We know that we multiplied 114 by 5 and it got us 570, right? And then we took the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th Fibonacci number, which is the number 5, and squared it. 5 times 5 is 25. And the reflection of 25 is 52. So 25 plus 570 is 595. Muhammad was 25 years old. Married Khadijah in 595, and she was 40, right? So when we took 570 and multiplied 52, which is a reflection of that 25 that we got from squaring off that number 5, right? We got 622, the Hijra, right? So now what we want to discuss is these dates, right, in the number 19, right? Because if you change any part of the Quran, it takes you out of the sequence of the code, the number 19, right? So since it's precise, like 19 out of 19, we want to actually multiply 19 times 19, right? And it gets us 361, right? So since we know we're talking about dates, the 361 is related to the 615, the first Hijra. The 361 is also related to the 1605 date, right? And what we want to do first, in 361 AD, right, we have the death of one Roman emperor, and then Julian the Apostate is installed, right? Further causing the rift in Christianity that leads to the development of Islam, right? The arguments between Arius, right? The various different arguments over the nature and the divinity or the human side of Jesus, right? These arguments are going on and they actually began to take momentum, right, in the year 361 AD, right? So what we want to do is we want to take this number 361 and we want to reduce it to its lowest representation, which would be 136. Then it would be 163 plus 316. Brings us to a total of 615, right? So we want to take a look at that, right? We want to take a look at this power of the 19 to reveal to us, right, the time gates, right, or the interests or the intervals in time, right, that this math is showing us that this is a timeline. These are all references to time. And because we're talking about Judaism, right, being the influence, the number 316 rings a bell to Jews, or does it ring a bell to Christians? 316, John 3:16. And if we actually, again, look at the 361, that's also a Christian reference, right? So the Jewish reference would be 613, right? We're going to get to that number because that number is going to help us lead us to this number right here, 1605, when Akbar the Great passes away, right? Akbar the Great of the Mughal Empire, right? Of the Persian. Remember I talked about that Persian bent because these are the Persian guys that take Islam east and spread it over India, right? So again, we want to talk about how we got Bab 212 from spelling out the word 114, right? 114 that got us to 212. These three numbers, 212, got us to what? These three letters, B-A-B, Bab, right? So there's 114 chapters in the Quran. The one word with 9 letters, synagogue, adds up to 114, right? 146. 6 times 19 is 114, all right? 19 is mentioned one time in the Quran, right? Surah 74, right? Ayat 30, over it is 19. 19 times 30 is actually 570, right? The year that the character was born, that would bring those 114 chapters, or his companions would do so, right? Writing it for him, because he is known as the illiterate prophet, right? And I also dropped out in the 6th grade, never went to college, never went to high school, etc., right? I'm currently now getting my GED. So I just want you to know that you don't have to be a college graduate to understand some of this stuff, because it's information that's hidden right in plain sight. All you got to do, as the Father told us, look, listen, observe, and respect. And if you look hard enough, if you listen good enough, right? And if you observe with great vigor, and if you respect that which is being taught to you, you would be able to unravel it. So again, 19 times 19 is 361. We reduced that to the lowest number, 136, plus 163, plus 316, took us to this right here, 615, the first hijrah, right? When Muhammad instructed his followers to go to Abyssinia, right, where he held his ground in Mecca, later on leaving Mecca to go to Medina in 622, right? And then some of those who went in 615 met up or returned back to, right, the area and met up with Muhammad in Medina, right? So we're talking about Beit al-Hakim, right, being developed around the 7th and 8th century, right? And it's modeled after, right, the Babylonian Talmudic academies that were developed in the same region, Iraq, Babylonia, right? And we related these first 3 letters of Babylonia, B-A-B, to the number of chapters in the Quran that we squared off from these first 3 Fibonacci numbers, 112, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 2 is 4. And we also got the number 33, right? Because the word Bab means gate, and gate in the English language, G is a 7, A is a 1, T is a 20, E is a 5, bringing us to a total of 33. That first 3 we got from these 3 letters, the second 3 is from these 3 numbers, right? And if we take the first 7 Fibonacci numbers, right? 1 plus 1 is 2, right? 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7, right? 7 plus 5 is 12, right? And 8 plus 12 is 20. 20 plus 13 is 33. And we link these 5 dates here, right? Right? We link these 5 dates, and we are right here, right, on the number 19, because we already decoded these other 3 dates by using the 114 that we squared off from the 112, right? So we're dealing with 615 and 1605 now. And we got 615 from adding 19 times 19 that got us 361. And I want you to look up what happened, right, with the Julian the Apostate and the rifts that take place in the church that further pushes, right, the development of Islam, right, in the Eastern Church region, in the Syriac church region, in the Levant region, right? So this has been another New Black World Order TV production, right? And remember, before I go, that we were going to take, right, the next set of 3 numbers that can be brought out of this 361 is 316, right, plus 613, right, because there's 613 laws in the Old Testament, right? 631, right, it's a year before Muhammad's passing away, right? So if we add these numbers up, right, 316 plus 613 plus 631 brings us to a total of 1605, right? The death of Akbar the Great, the Mughal Empire. I think he was the 3rd emperor ruling over that region, the Taj Mahal region, right? And remember, we got the number 19, 1 word, 9 letters, synagogue, right? S is a 25. I mean, S is a 19, excuse me. Y is a 25. N is a 14. A, right, is a 1. G is a 7. O is a 15. G is a 7. U is a 21. And E is a 5, bringing us to a total of 114. And when we spelled out 114, we got the number 212. Bab, right? Beth, Aleph, Beth. Ba, Aleph, Ba, or B-A-B. Bab. Gate, right? These are all time gates. These are ways to go into the calendar system and break the code so that we can see that Islam is heavily laden with Jewish thought. Christianity is heavily laden with Jewish thought. And remember, 361 AD, right? So we're talking about cracking the mathematical codes of the Quran and its number of chapters, 114, the science of the number 7, right? And the number 19 in the Quran. This has been another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. Grand Rising, family.